Watch us via Roku on your smart TV. Download the Millennium TV app from the App Store to stream our shows anywhere, anytime. Millennium TV.
Good afternoon, great people. This is your host, Jania Butler, for the New American Perspective. And we're back. We're here on Millennium News 24. Missed you. Happy New Year. It looks like we're getting off to a great new year, a great start this new year. So how have you been feeling? What have you been doing? Welcome my shadow as well. So we have missed you. We've got so much to talk about today on our new hour, our new, let's say 1:15 hour. Did you miss your girl, Fly Girl Lady J, the New American Perspective, Millennium News 24? We're ready to go. So let's talk about what's happening in America. So first of all, are we in the new America or what? Have we been forward thinking on this show, good people? Yes, we have. We are in a new America. Let's talk about it. So first, today, the House committee is having a hearing for the Doge committee with Elon Musk, and we haven't seen much of Ramsamick, excuse me for saying his name wrong, but we haven't seen too much of him. That's why I can't pronounce his name right, but we haven't seen too much of him. But what we've seen is that Elon is saying that tens of millions of dollars are missing here in the United States. Now, what's going on with that, Biden and everybody who came before you? What's happening? So we didn't want to justify the position for Elon, but maybe Elon's position is justified. And I got a chance to watch a little bit of what was going on. And if you check it out, okay, what's happening is that they are actually bringing up President Clinton saying, look, we got to cut government spending. They're looking at Obama talking about, look, we got to cut government spending, and doing exactly the things that Elon is doing right now with the Doge, okay? So then did you get a chance to see Elon in the Oval Office, okay? That was a little weird. He had his son X with him. We gonna call him little X. He had his son X with him, and X was acting up in the Oval Office. So Elon was in the office with his son X and and Trump, and they were talking about the billion dollars of that he has found of frivolous spending. Now, he said, this is what he said. He said the tax dollars need to be spent more wisely. Now, does Elon have a point with that? You know, I want my tax dollars to be spent wisely. I want to know that all the taxes that we're paying and what we're going through and giving up all our money, I mean, we can go to jail. Wesley Snipes, we can go to jail, Fat Joe, on taxes. So does Elon have America's best interest at heart? I think that's what we're really looking at this whole thing. Does Elon really have America's best interest at heart? I don't know. He's a South African, okay? But he's the richest man in the world. And so Trump says, listen, we need people like that in America. We need people like that are going to help us figure stuff out. People who have figured out how to be the richest in the world. Trump said, I want to talk to him. I want to get his two-step, because I think after I'm done, I'm going to be the richest. I don't know, Elon, you better watch your back. So he's digging through records and finding problems. He says it's common sense, right? So if we go line by line, and we look line by line, and we see that, hey, they're sending condoms. Now, he got caught out there because he said that they're sending $50 million worth of condoms to the Gaza. So that was just shock value for X, right? That was the tagline for X for Elon. But it turned out that they were sending it to Mozambique. And so the people were saying, well, hey, maybe we need these condoms in Mozambique. Do we need them? I don't know. Do we need to be sending them? I'm sure Mozambique needs the condoms, right? But do we need to be sending them, and do they need to be out of our taxpayer money? So now here's the other thing. Remember, Trump had said that, they ordered a buyout on everybody. So they told everybody, look, we asking everybody who wants to get out to get out. We'll give you your pay 8 months till September. Have a nice day, right? Jump out of here. But no, the federal judge said, you can't do that, Mr. Trump. That's what the federal judge said. The judge said, listen, you can't do that. What you're going to have to look at doing is you're going to have to look at 2,000 people at a time. So you can only retire 2,000 people at a time, right? So what's up with that? Okay. So Elon is saying because it's a manual system and you got to walk the paperwork in the manila folder down to a system that's 1955. So he's starting to make a little bit of sense here, in the sense that we may not need to spend this money like we're spending it, and then when we can't do stuff, right? But a federal judge is cutting that off and saying, hold up, Trump, you can't do that. And he's also looking at, hold up, Trump, you can't just go and look through everybody's records and find out where all this money is going, because people are going to get in trouble. So we, the people, got to decide if this is what we want, right? Do we want this with ourselves? Do we want our federal spending dollars to be spent in certain ways? Okay, so they offered everyone the buyout. And now they said that one of the reporters said, listen, Elon, everybody is thinking, I think this was that reporter saying that. He said, listen, Elon, everybody is thinking that you are having a hostile takeover of the government. What do you think? Is this a hostile takeover on behalf of Elon, or what? Elon is doing his thing. He got his little ex-baby on his shoulders. He's putting his fingers in his ear. He's saying, no, Dad. No. He's like, I guess he's like 2, and he's like, oh, no, X. And Elon is a little funny. He's got a little funny ways. I don't know. Maybe I'm going to chalk it up to culture. Okay. But he's laughing. Oh, sorry about that. Your kids shouldn't be in there. But I have a point to make about Black kids and white kids, or other people's kids as well. So he says people voted for major government reform. This is what Elon says. He says he's cutting $1 billion of federal contracts. So why should anybody be upset with that, right? He's cutting $1 billion of contracts. Trump says he's a successful business guy. That's why we want him doing that. We've already found tens of billions of dollars. So if they found tens of billions of dollars already, does this make sense for this particular department? And again, they're saying, well, listen, this department was already in existence. Everybody's saying, well, look, you're cutting all these other departments. How you going to put this department in place? Let Elon have the access to all our social security numbers. And he's a regular everyday citizen, not with no checks and balances. We ain't run no fingerprints on my boy Elon. And just because he owns SpaceX and everything else, we don't know about your criminal background, my man. Okay, we got to look at this, Trump. So he said 3-month contract, continues to pay them for 20 years. So he said that he's finding spaces where there's 3 months, people have contracts for 3 months, and it's going on for 20 years. So this is, I'm going to throw this into the left, but this is cause for reparations. This is cause, because how are we going to get that money back? When we look at why or why not we're ahead or not, well, if somebody's got a 3-month consulting contract and they're still getting paid for 20 years down the line, we need reparations. Let's talk about it, right? So then Elon talked about a hotel has made $59 million housing migrants, double the room rate at full occupancy since this whole thing started in New York. $59 million, just the hotel. You could buy a hotel for, I guess, a couple billion, but you could put, there's go your down payment for your next hotel. Okay, so we've got to really look at that. And Trump, and he chiming in, illegal immigrants, might I add, they're paying $59 million for that. And that's your boy Eric Adams, and of course we're going to talk about him in a few too. And so cut the budget deficit. This is what Elon says that he thinks that we should do. And it may make a little sense, people. I don't know. This may make sense. We're getting to the point where Elon may be making a little bit of sense here. So Elon says, cut the budget deficit in half from 2 trillion to 1 trillion, right? By going and mixing up and finding all these little, things. He says, well, I bring them to President Trump and I tell him, hey, do you want me to cut this? Or do you want me to cut that? Of course you do, right? And so then he says, take $1 trillion, make $1 trillion in economic growth, right? And so when we cut the $1 trillion, right, then we make $1 trillion, and then he says there'll be no inflation. Now that's what we want to hear, okay? No inflation, government not borrowing. So now that's the other thing, the government not borrowing. So now when the government doesn't borrow, then our interest rates go down. And so now he's saying this makes sense for the American people. Now he doesn't seem to me like he's so American, because he talks about American people in third party. He'd be like, I think that's what your American people want. And I think that's what the American citizen is looking for. Not that we are looking for, because he don't have anything to worry about, right? I know it. And so now, people are saying the Doge cuts may need a vote in Congress. And Trump said, hey, look, I think that we'll get that vote if we need that vote in Congress. Who doesn't want to cut the government spending? And why wouldn't they want to cut the government spending, right? And so they said, let's go hard. And so I noticed that, remember Trump had that weird brown hair? He's all white now. So whatever piece he got on top, it's all white. He's in the he's in, what's the club called? I forget the club called. I'll get it in a minute, but he's in the club now. It's all white, and so his whole hair is all white. He's all one color. He went away with the brown, and now he's accepting his age, as white, so the top piece is white. I don't know if it's going to blow or whatever, but it's white. And so, so they're talking about the fraud rings, and we've got to talk about that too. And he said it's about $100 to $200 billion a year in fraud. And he said the fraud people are the ones that are being like, oh, I'm not getting paid. They're stepping up. But what happens? This is what I want to know. What is going to happen when we do find the fraud? Are we going to prosecute them as they should be prosecuted? Are we going to go back and prosecute the other people as they should be prosecuted? What are we going to do? Are they going to jail, President Trump? That's what I want to know now. And so we really got to look into this really strongly about what's they going. So, and like I told you, they fact-checked Elon. Elon said that that they were spending $50 million on the condoms to Gaza. And everybody went crazy. What? And so this is what Elon said, though. This was the weird part that Elon said. He said, some of the things, and this is the realest, I guess it's the realest that you could be, right? Because he says, some of the things I say will be incorrect. Hey, what? And should be corrected. He said, I will make more mistakes. We can't bat 1,000. He just said that. And the people accepted it. They didn't say, what, Elon, what is you talking about? They didn't even go into that. They did not go into that. So I don't know how we're going to, get through that part, but Elon is on the job. X is on the job, little baby X. Was X born before he bought? I'm assuming that X was born after us because he's passing it on. But what we're going to do is we're going to go to a quick break. I know you missed us, and I know you don't want us to go to the break. We're going to go to a quick break here on Millennium News 24. I'm going to fix my lighting so my shadow doesn't have to be in the commentary, and I look forward to seeing you back in a few minutes. This is the New American Perspective, and we'll be right back. And we are back. Shadow's still intact. She wants to stay today. Well, we'll just let her stay. How about that? Let me get my little act together here. So we are back on the New Millennium Perspective, and we talking about perspectives here. We are talking about the perspectives. Okay, so we just talked about how Elon Musk and President Trump are in the Oval Office with little baby X running his piece, and little X, he got the fingers in the air like, I don't want to hear it. I don't know if he's speaking English. I don't know what he's talking about, but he was talking back to him in English. So I'm going to give him that piece. But then they were talking about how they was, the U.S. aid. They said, Elon, did U.S. aid have any worthy causes? He said, yeah, some of them were worthy. But, what's happening is we're looking at an America first situation here. That's what we're looking at, America first. And I'm not mad. And then let me say this lastly on Elon and President Trump is that they said, look, Elon, you already got billions of dollars of money coming in to you. How are you going to police yourself? What is you talking about? How you going to say all these people ain't supposed to get this money and then you getting billions of dollars? He says, well, it's not me, it's SpaceX. And if SpaceX doesn't get the money, if SpaceX didn't give the brightest money and the best deal for it, let me know. That's how Elon was. He's like, listen, why can't I get some American money? This is what I'm standing here for. It's because I'm going to be first on the list to know what's up. So we got to watch Elon. But what I wanted to say is that there is definitely a difference between white and black kids, because Elon actually, I can't do that. Elon actually had, sorry for that background switch. Elon actually had his son on his, let me put this up. He had his son on his neck, right? Going with, he had a son on his neck talking about, oh, be quiet. Now, with black kids, okay, what we are doing, I got the joint for the Philly in the back, okay, I'm one of them joints, but what we actually do in our community is we stop our kids from talking. We tell our kids, when our kids start to talk, we listen, go sit in the corner and you don't say nothing, okay? Don't say nothing, right? That's what we do with our kids. But if you've seen how the white kids, this is how they create the privilege. They create the privilege by saying, oh, little X, he's just acting out real quick. X, daddy's talking, X, daddy's talking. And so makes him learn how. Now little X is listening to the conversation. So little X gonna be talking SpaceX. He gonna be talking Trump business. He's big now, right? Because when little X get bigger, X was in the room with the president when he was young. Now, I don't know where X was born. I don't know if X was born in America. A lot of people was worried about whether Elon was going to be the president. But I think the two people that we got to worry about being the president is Barron, 6'9" Barron Trump. You know, Trump be like, my very tall son, Barron, right? 6'9" president, Barron Trump, or young X Elon, because we know who he is. Who else is named X? I don't know if his name is Xavier, if it's his X alone, but that's where we at with it. I've got two great guests today. And I want to share them with you. One Black History moment, and we're going to talk about. You see in my background the John. Let me move over so you can see the John. You see the John. That's the Philly John. If you know about Johns in Philly, and I'm gonna go on record to say that I bought the John to New York. Let me tell you a little story about that. So a John. We don't really have a definition for a John. A John is whatever you want to call something that you don't want to call a name. I don't know how you define that, but a John is a person, place, or a thing. Okay, let's say that. You know, a John is a Philly John, a Philly girl, a Philly man. A John is that John over there. You know, that store over there. A John. The Eagles are Johns. You know, them Johns was the John. So let me tell you a little quick story about when I got to New York, 1993. Okay, tell a little bit on my age here, but when I got to New York, 1993, you know, innocent young 17-year-old girl, and I'm saying, yeah, that John. They said, what? The John? They said, what? A John. How you spell that? So New York, 1993, had no idea what a John was. And so anybody that says that they brought the John to New York, use a lie. Because I was there. I was in the middle of it. Brooklyn, USA, LIU Brooklyn. Nobody knew what a John was. So that was my quick little story about a John. So now quickly, let me talk to you about a couple more things. 1 second. Let me just send over this StreamYard so our guests can get on. And I hope that doesn't come up in the background. And then I will get right back to telling you more about what's happening. So our next guest is going to be the founder and executive director of the Major Taylor Fund in Chicago. And he's going to tell us about Major Taylor, who is a cyclist and a historian, and we're looking to get him the Congressional Medal of Honor coming up in this next election. So what do y'all want to see? Y'all want to see the John? Let's stay John. Okay, so so what do we got? What are we talking about while we're waiting for him to get on? So we'll wait for him to chime in, and it'll be a great conversation, I promise. Okay, so remember, I just want to bring up, remember your boy Biden pardoned Fauci. A preemptive pardon for Fauci. And rest in peace to my good friend, Derek Holloway, Harlem, USA. He was a Harlem baby, went to Temple University, got his master's degree, and he worked in the social services community. And Derek was a great young man, and he passed away on January 28th. He had MS. I'm not sure of, what he actually died of, but I know that he had MS. And rest in peace to Derek Holloway. But you know me, Miss, I don't know if you want to call me Miss Conspiracy Theory, but I just am so upset about Derek's death because I went back and looked on his Instagram, his Facebooks and everything. Well, why could he be dead? I knew that he took that vaccine, and he said that he had got all fully vaccinated 4 vaccines. So I have a problem with people being dead and gone after they take this vaccine. And I think that when you give Fauci a preemptive pardon before you leave out, before the case is really done, and your 6 people and your six family members, I ain't gonna get into that, right? But we know that what that's about, okay? But when you give Fauci, a man who was behind the AIDS virus, and then we got bird flu coming up. So who is running the CDC now? I know Kennedy got confirmed, and so we got to look at Kennedy. They was yelling at him the other day because he said black people have different immunity than white people. So we may not need to over vaccinate black people. Hello, let's go with the facts. Don't be throwing that up on us. And they used us as an experiment. So back to Derek Holloway, just in my sense. Rest in peace to my good friend Derek. We spent a lot of time together. We worked at the Doe Fund in New York together, and we had a great time. And now I'm just looking and saying, what really happened? 4 years ago, he took those vaccinations, and I'm sorry, he should be alive. He's been alive up until this point with his MS. So what else got in his way other than that vaccine? So people question. People don't overlook the fact that people took this vaccine and are getting sick or having heart problems or in a different state of their lives at this point. Do not forget that. We have to fight for those of us who trust in this country, okay? So Putin, I'm hearing that Putin wants to bring Fauci up on international charges. Now, I don't know how true that is, right? But Fauci had everybody, oh, you got to stay 6 inches apart. You got to do this. You got to do that. You got to do all these things. Well, hello, you know what I'm saying? Hello, somebody. I wish that Putin, I don't know, like I said, I don't know how true it is. I haven't heard anything else about it. I think that it may have been a little rumor, but hey, Pooh, go get him, please. Thank you. Okay, so Eric Adams. I got to give you a high five, E-Dub. I'm going to call him E-Dub from now on because he beat the system, okay? Eric told you from the beginning, I'm OG. Remember, he said, I'm not resigning. I don't know what y'all talking about. Remember, and we helped him out. I want to say that this show, The New American Perspective, giving people new perspectives helped him out because we were one of the first to put out there that they ran down on him, okay? Because somebody got to say it first. And I think that I was first to say it, that they ran down on him. You know, I may not like him for mayor, but I don't want the brother man to go down. Okay. And so Trump and the Department of Justice, they're about to, dismiss his charges. And so I've got a theory on how that works. Okay. The theory on how, to dismiss those charges and why Trump would want those charges dismissed. Okay. He wants them charges dismissed because he doesn't like Cuomo. So, Governor Cuomo is considering a run for mayor, and he is polling higher than Eric Adams. Now, they didn't let Eric Adams get the matching funds. Okay. So in New York, you get 8-to-1 matching funds. Okay. That means $8 to $1. So if I throw Mayor Adams $80 to his campaign, that's $100. Hold on. Let me get that's $600 for $640 for his campaign. If I throw him 80. So that means a lot. You understand what I'm saying? That translates into a lot of money. Okay. So he needs that money. And I'm sure when he went to go talk to Trump in the closed door room, he said, look, I know you don't want your boy Cuomo to get the spot. I know that. So I think you better hurry up and let me out on this, because now don't forget, people, the primary is in June. So the mayor for the Democratic primary is in June. So you're going to have to vote in June for basically who's going to become the mayor. And New York got that weird ranking system that you pick your first, your second, and your third. I think that we need to check that out, and I think that system needs to go, because I don't understand it. I don't think that the people understand it. I think that we're trusting in what we don't understand and what we don't know. So I think that might need to go somewhere, good people. Okay, so think about that and think about how we get rid of that. Who put that in place from the beginning? But so now that Mayor Adams can get his matching funds and get his game up and say to the people, he was on Stephen A the other day. He did a really good interview with Stephen A. Smith, and he was in mayor form, he was in re-election form, and look, brother, he's a great talker now. He's a great talker. Now, I don't like the way, I don't like the direction in which New York City is going, and I don't necessarily like what's I got there? I got the G-check in the house. What's going on?
I guess
how you gonna pop in? How you gonna pop in on me like that?
I guess G-check is back into the G. You know what I mean?
Check back in. Look behind me. You see that?
All
you know what that means?
All the fans missed us. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So this is Mr. A.B. Butler. He's part of the Butler gang. I don't know if y'all know the Butler gang, but he's part of the Butler gang. And AB jumped on right now, because we're going to talk about AB is a hip hop legend. He's a hip hop historian. He was there. He knows what happened. We've seen Kendrick Lamar act up on the stage yesterday, but the other day, you see what I got behind me? You see how New Yorkers are? You see that? You see it say the John? That's the Philly John. You know what the John is?
Okay? All day, every day.
So Kendrick and rest in peace to Irv Gotti. He's a celebrity. He, everybody knows him. They're gonna come knocking on the window and all this good stuff. But Irv Gotti passed away. Rest in peace to Irv Gotti. But what you got to say for yourself, A.B. Butler?
Oh man, it's sad where you got so many legends keep passing away. You know what I mean? It's a sign of it's a time for us to start waking up and respecting everybody. You know what I mean? Lay the beefs down, lay the problems down. It's that era now where people that we know, we grew up, we listen to, we see is falling. So we got to try to change that look. You know what I mean? All these beefs, arguing with one another, playing tennis, going back and forth with one another. We got to grow out of that,
Right, because now hip hop is 50 years old, but hip hop is now having a shelf life of between 50 and 60 years old. There's been a lot of people, rest in peace, Fat Man Scoop. There's been a lot of people that have passed away in the last 10 years that everybody now is looking at the hip hop community and saying what's going on and what's happening. And, you're right, is that, we have to now celebrate each other, and we now have to look to really think about what we're doing, how we're doing it. Now, you saw the halftime show. First, did you see the Eagles win? Okay, first of all, did you see that W that we brought to the city? Did you see that? I know you're not an Eagles fan.
I'm not an Eagles fan, and let me say this. I just wanna overhear. I was overhearing something where a guy from Philly said, "No disrespect." He said Jersey. Don't come and be a Philly fan now. You know what I mean? And that's crazy.
That's your side of Jersey.
No.
Okay?
They just say they didn't say they did not say what part. They just said Jersey is Jersey. It don't matter. It's Atlantic City.
Ain't no way they was talking about us, Atlantic City and all of that. We don't got no choice. That's our team, and we've been there from the beginning. Now, there's been some wagon jumpers. I'm gonna go ahead and go with that. But
we don't call them wagon. We call them tour bus riders.
Okay, well, you call it what you want. But so now the Kendrick Lamar halftime show, very controversial, very, very, very. What was going on? What was your take on that?
Oh man, my take on that, man, he did what he was supposed to do. That's what I'm saying. He did a classic, respectful way. He went over a lot of people's heads. They couldn't understand it. And it to me, I look at things like that where people that look like us always complaining, oh, it wasn't a good halftime show. It's always when people get up here and start talking that, you got to realize it went over their heads, went around their heads, went under their heads.
A little bit about what you've seen happen. I mean, I got the breakdown now. I mean, I was kind of like, okay, this is deep. You got, Samuel Jackson playing Uncle Sam. You had a Serena Williams out there. What did you see, and what part do you think that we should take away and we should appreciate about what Kendrick did for the Black community?
Well, we should appreciate everything he did. I'm not going to just go as one thing, even though he separate the flag. We already know you separated anyway.
Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Good point. Did you see that when he was standing in the middle?
Yeah. He was definitely was in the middle doing his thing. And they look at Miss SW. You know what I mean? She from Compton. You know what I mean? And it's like, y'all acting like you ain't see her. She did that on the playing tennis on one of her matches. So it's like that's what
they were controversial. They was ready to kick her out of tennis behind that.
But that's, you got to remember, it don't matter how much money you get in life, no matter where you come from, that's what you used to. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like she came from Beverly Hills or whatever. If you did come from Beverly Hills, it's the Crip walk, it's the blood walk. You know what I mean?
About her sister being killed by Crips, and then she's walking on the prison yard dancing like a Crip. Does that matter?
But you gotta remember, her sister got killed. We don't know why her sister got killed. We don't know who killed her sister. It's like, that's why he says something correctly. Turn your TV off. Stop always listening to. Look at the message sometimes. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, when her sister got killed or whatever, it's always they keep targeting us on everything we do. So we don't know who killed her. The police could have killed her. You understand what I'm saying? It could have been anybody killed her, but they left a blue flag and said, oh, the Crips did it. There's a lot of cover up. Just like, I don't want to get off the subject. They talk so bad about Bill Cosby, but nobody could ask us who killed his son, why they killed his son. So you got to look at it this way. Sometimes you got to open your mind and think for yourself and look at things totally different. You know what I mean? Homeboy from Compton, she from Compton. That's what she knows. She been seeing, if she wasn't a tennis player, she would have been up there dancing. What would they say? It's always somebody get some money, get on this status. People, we always got something to say about somebody. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, and that is true. So now let's talk, when you talk about a status, let's talk about your homeboy, Jay-Z. People are talking about that they want him fired. Him or Roger Goodell gotta go. But hold on, let me give you some numbers. They said that now Kendrick, these are Rock Nation numbers, let me make it clear. Kendrick surpassed Michael Jackson as the number one watched Super Bowl. Michael had 133.4 million, and Kendrick had 133.5 million. Now,
Guess what?
should Jay-Z be fired?
Guess what? Guess what? Guess what? They both black. Don't matter. It don't matter. It
But
don't
should
matter.
Jay-Z be fired
Fire for what?
for putting on this, this American piece? And they said that, hey, Lil Wayne should have been at the Super Bowl too. Lil Wayne, should they have brought in the essence of New Orleans? Did we miss out on the horns?
We get caught up on titles, people, and stuff like that. You get where I'm coming from? Lil Wayne would have got up there and did Lil Wayne. Kenny got up there to open the black people's eyes. Not even the black, the brown, and the people that seeing what we seeing. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, they did it. They did what they were supposed to do. We were supposed to see that. You know what I mean? And then on top of that, Donald Trump was in the building. Uncle Sam was in the building. Yeah. So at the end of the day, he did what he was supposed to do.
Well, okay, and I'm gonna go with that. So again, Jay-Z, he's on the hot seat. People want him fired. And I think that this was a G check for Jay-Z. Now, I got mixed feelings about Jay, but he did let Kendrick go up there and put off the freedom of expression. And most of us knew that Kendrick was going to come with something, but he had the, but what you talk about the beef, and when you talk about ending beef, when he is literally trying to, he had in the background game over when it came down to Drake. So we've got to look at all these things, right? We got to look at how these things play out, because of course, he got the peekaboo, the Triple X was on there. He had the PlayStation controller. Sony is by Sony. Drake is on Sony. He was deep. He had the prison yard. He had the flag. I said, okay, Kendrick.
But see, you gotta look at it this way, cuz we caught up on looks. We not catching the messages.
Right.
You know what I mean? Most people just looking at the message, who was the performer. They not talking about the message. The message is everybody black, brown, and light skin. If you feel like we feel going through what we going through, open our eyes and stop. We got to stop worrying about what we seen. Let's open our eyes and just say, you know what? Enough is enough. We got to stick together, because it ain't the world seeing what's going on. You get where I'm coming from? We keep going at it. We keep suffering. We keep, listening to the BS. When is we going to stop?
Right. And so we're going to take a short break, and we're going to come back. We're going to talk a little bit more with A.B. Butler on this G-Check segment about the 40-day fast from Target, DEI, that President Trump is over here. He is over here signing executive orders by the minute, right? He's signing them at press conferences. He's signing them across the board. And I'm going to have to say, President Trump, we're going to need you to sign some black orders, okay? You signing a whole bunch of stuff out of existence, but we're going to need you to sign off on some black orders. And what I'm going to need you to do is look at this Target fast. And so we're going to talk about that Target fast, DEI, where we're going next in this administration and how we move it, because, we got to get it right. So this is your host, Jania Butler. I'll be right back with the New American Perspective, and A.B. Butler with the G-Check.
Bang. What's up? get that that quick. You back, cuz?
Yeah, we back. And so now, did you hear about the 40-day fast with Target? So Reverend Jamal Bryant, he and the U.S. Black Chambers, they called for a 40-day fast, not a boycott. They called for a 40-day fast from Target because Target rolled back its DEI initiative. DEI, we talked about that in the past, diversity, equity, and inclusion. And so they rolled that back. Now, how do you feel about that?
Listen, I feel about this. I don't shop in Target, so it don't matter. But at the end of the day, we need to get together as a black community, a brown community, a light-skinned community, and figure it out how we need to get together and get off this selfish.
Okay, the selfish stuff.
Yeah.
And so, I completely agree. I don't know if I'm running out of I completely agree on that. And now let me also talking about how do you feeling about the job that President Trump is doing as a black man? Is he servicing you? Are you how you feel about that?
Oh man, let me say this. Donald Trump got 34 conviction felonies. Listen, everybody that got a felony right now, they need to erase that F off their records. It don't matter. You know what I mean? Because there is no way you got a 34. It don't matter if it's A, B, C, or D felony.
Right. Mm-hmm.
He got 34 conviction felonies. So the brothers that is in LA, they gave them 3 strikes and they got life. Mm-hmm. Houston, wherever they got that 3 strikes, they need to sponge that. A lot of brothers should be coming home because is no way they can't say, oh, cause Donald Trump is the president. He had 34 felonies before he became the president.
And I think what people don't understand is that you can be a felon and become the president. I think that's what everybody woke up to is that, hey, wait a minute, how did he become the president? And to say to the brothers, but it's the people that choose that, right? And that's what we have to understand. We, the people, chose that. But I like this. I like where you're going. So so let's talk to Trump on this. What are you telling him?
Donald Trump, if you hear me, I need you to pardon all my guys like you pardon your people that got these felonies and they holding them when they go get an apartment, a job, on the application. They need to take all that off the application, the background check. If you got a felony, whatever, they need to get rid of all of that because at the end of the day, this is what I'm saying, people. They want you to go to school and get all these degrees, your bachelor's, and what they doing, they putting a machine in a position for jobs. The machines that go to no school, got no degrees, but they're giving them all the jobs now. So they need to change so many things because at the end of the day, we really losing out and we sit back and when it's done, oh man, they did that. No, you already know what they're doing. So at the end of the day, we just need to change all that because it hold people back. And it's like, you got a lot of brothers out here want to work. They want jobs. They want to get paid. They want to take care of their family. But in their eyes of the court system, the F hold us back. So they need to change all that, get rid of all of that. You know what I mean? Because the brothers out here need to do the right thing. You know what I mean? They just want to keep building prison, keep us in there. But at the end of the day, the president got 34 felonies.
Right. And so I like that. And I like the fact that seems like what we need to tell him is to expand the First Step Act to where people can either get pardoned or people can, the expungement is a little deeper than, because I know when you get your record expunged, they're light stuff, you was in the back smoking marijuana in the corner when the marijuana and now all the marijuana charges are going away. But if people really want to change their lives, and I want to look at it in a way to where entrepreneurs and Black entrepreneurs, because I think that these are two areas, and President Trump talked about in number 11 on his executive orders to rebuild cities. So I think that when we're talking about rebuilding the Black community, if you enrich the entrepreneurs in the Black community, because we're entrepreneurs in the Black community, we do great things and we need more capital going in those directions. And so if you enrich the entrepreneurs, and the entrepreneurs are able to hire ex-offenders, and the entrepreneurs are able to now give people that second chance, because I think that we get lost in ourselves when we say, well, the second chance you need is in white corporate America. Well, that's where you're going to make the most money. I understand. That's where you're going to be able to make the best dollars. But if we're able to stay in our own lanes, in our own communities, and rebuild our community by doing this, by saying, hey, look, Trump, this is the time, let's not overlook the fact that you got these felonies too. And I think all the brothers is looking like, hey, what's up, my man? We're a little bit of the same. We're one and one of the same. And so what are you doing from here on out? So that's what we really need to look at. And I like that. And I'm going to make sure that President Trump definitely hears that. He tried to take away the civil right that gives us the right. And so they're banning the discrimination on contracts and contractors and subcontractors. And I think that he's just looking at that a little wrong, because when you talk about DEI, now we know in our community that we started out with affirmative action, and they gutted affirmative action years ago, right? But now Obama replaced it with DEI, and they said Obama replaced that with DEI because he was looking for the gays, the lesbians, and the white women to get ahead on what we had established as affirmative action. And
that's why I like Trump right there. That part right there.
What? Because he cut them loose, or the gays and the lesbian part?
Yeah, he had to cut that off, especially when every time you turn on the TV or something, they forcing this stuff down little kids. It's not good, you know what I mean? And I respect them on that behalf, you know what I mean? A lot of things I might not respect them with how he feel or whatever. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, he's the only president I've seen since I've been alive do what he do. He like, I tell people this all the time. Trump do what a New Yorker would do, go to a town and take the town over. So he went to Washington and did what he did. You know what I mean? He took it over, like at the end of the day, he let them know I'm the boss.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah.
And let me say also, we also saw him sign an executive order that did not allow men to play in women's sports. And I thought that was wonderful, because some kids and some parents might have been going gung-ho and be like, just switch it up and you could be the best that you could be in beating these women. And they were actively stronger than the young ladies. And he did protect that. He had his executive order. He had all the kids, all the little girls around him. He protected the little girls. So it looked good. It looked good in his eyes. It looked good with him. And I think that he did the right thing there. And I think that he's doing the right thing. Now, he might be a little wild, though, because he went with the Kennedy Center. He said this is a G-check, because he went with the Kennedy Center and he said, I'm going to take over the Kennedy Center on 60th Street. And now y'all can't have no more drag at the Kennedy Center. I'm taking over. I'm about to build your board. No more drag. How about that? you know, and he
I'm
went.
not mad at him. I'm not mad at him. You know what I mean? Now, only thing he need to do is fix that congestion pricing and throw that out. Throw that
Big
out.
time. That's, you know, and so he is also working on this. Shout out to Congresswoman Nicole Malatakis out of Staten Island, where she is working around the clock trying to talk to Trump. Now, he did come up with a loophole in the congestion pricing because it's just too much. And especially if you're coming from New Jersey or just roundabout New York City, just to go down into the city. They talking about one area of the city and you jamming up the rest of the city, right? So everywhere now, parking. So if you want to park and go into the city, if you want to go this way, that way to go into the city, it's not working. That is not going to work. That is not going to happen. And so Trump is talking about, and I'm sure that he's trying to see how much money that they're raising, but they said that there's 1 million less cars. That's 1 million, probably maybe 2 million less people going into the area now. Long Island Railroad is up, but people, especially in the snow and this, people want to drive their cars when they want to drive their cars. And I
But
think that they're going to be putting people out of business when you pull people out. What were you going to say?
but I'm gonna say this with that congestion pricing, right? You know what I mean? You look at it this way. The game was they started. This is how they started it. Let's do the bike lane. So they do the bike lane, the
Sure,
walk lane. So they took 2 lanes out. So you
sure.
only got 2 lanes.
Very
You
good
know what I
point.
mean? So at the end of the day, it's like, oh, you can't turn down this block. You can't turn down that block. So they saying is then what they do, they quick to put a sign up, no parking here at this time. They're giving tickets. It's like, come on now. New York City is nothing but bloodsuckers. Because at the end of the day, you sit back and think about it. They're gonna give you a ticket. You got to pay for that. You can't park nowhere. You got to park in the parking lot. So they prices is crazy. Then you got to come across. If you're coming in from Jersey, Queens, you got to come across 2 or 3 bridges, going, coming. You understand what I'm saying? So, I understand how they look at it because you got to look at it. Most of the time when people look at shit like that, they don't live there. They driving the company car. So it's not going to affect them. So now you got to think about it. Y'all making all these rules, but y'all don't live here. You got a city car. You work for the city. You work for the you got a company car, so you not getting charged, but you don't care. Your kids is taken care because they got that badge. So at the end of the day, it's like the city is too greedy. You know what I mean? Just like living. You know what I mean? You got everything going up, but nobody paying. The money ain't going up, but they keep taking.
Right.
It's like they sucking you dry. You understand what I'm saying? So they not giving nothing back. Where, okay, you want to do this, but what comes with that? It's nothing. It's always take, run, run, run. It's like they talk about, oh, the trains is this. They got to fix the train up. Listen, check this out, people. Wherever the rich white folks live at, go by their train station. Fixed up, clean, everything is spotless. Now go to Harlem, go to the Bronx, go to Brooklyn. Train station is terrible. So what is they really doing with the money? You get where I'm coming from? You saying is you got the train, you got the tolls, you got the lottery, you got all this. What is they doing with all this money? You know what I mean? You got the tickets. Then you got hold up. You putting these cameras up where there's no school. You understand what I'm saying? 25 miles going up a block that don't have no schools. What the camera doing over there? The cameras that you put up, it should be by school zone only. It shouldn't be on no other blocks.
It sounds like we need to have a one-on-one with Mayor Adams and talk to him because he's going back up for re-election in June. And we also need to talk to Elon Musk and Doge. So cousin, we're going to have to cut this G check off, but it was great to see you. I'm glad that you chimed in. I'm glad that you're back in the Butler gang. And so we'll talk about this again here on the New American Perspective. And you heard a great perspective here today. You heard common sense perspective. This is a new America, and we are your new Americans. Thank you for chiming in. I'm tuning out. This is Millennium News 24. Jania Butler, AB Butler. I'll see you next week.
You good, Cuz? Okay. You still there?